Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my channel. Tom here, T&BH Gaming. Guys, today we're here with the new game, Railroader. Um, I've got quite a few live streams out with this game, but we're doing a regular playthrough. So I started a new game for this playthrough. So let's get started in it. Whoop, wrong one. There we go. It says East Whittier after the flood. Ladies and gentlemen, today's the day. We're our own railroad. The Atlantic Railway might not have thought this area was worth their time, but now it's all in our hands. We've got 1.5 good engines out of the deal, and the roundhouse in Bryson is in good shape. Trouble is, it doesn't do us much good with the bridge at Ela still out. The yard east of Whittier will be our home for now. It's got a yard that doubles as the interchange with the Atlantic Railway to the east and the engine service facilities. The coal conveyor, water column, and engine shed are more than enough for our current needs. Reposition this window by dragging it by its title bar top and an X at the bottom to the right hand corner. You can reopen it by clicking tutorial button in the upper right corner of the screen. Don't see any buttons, however. You mouse over the buttons and access. Okay, so we're gonna run this down here, and we're gonna exit out of it. Well, no, we're not. We're going to bring it back up because we have to go to next and find out what our job briefing. Before we get to running any passengers or freight, we have a few things to attend to around the shop. Here's the plan for today. Get familiar with the engine and take on coal and water. Rescue the derailed locomotive. Order more coal and take the hopper to the interchange. Run a passenger train to Whittier and Ella west of here. Set up your first freight contracts with customers. Let's start by getting familiar with how to look and move around the world. Okay, so let's do that. Railroader has two cameras. One is first person view, which is in what we're in right now. And the second one is the overhead cam. Press 1 for first person view and 2 for the overhead cam. There's your overhead cam, guys. Select the camera moves. The selected camera moves with WASD. Or to rotate and look around, move the mouse wheel to change your zoom distance in first person mode. Middle mouse button resets the zoom. So if I zoom in and I go boop, it resets my zoom. Space bar jumps. Yay, we're jumping. Try switching between the cameras and adjust your point of view to find what works for you. Hold down shift to run. So shift and walking and running. Okay. Hold down shift to run. This works in both cameras. And control works in both cameras. So I never tried it in this camera before. So if we're moving along here and then we hit shift, oh yeah, it moves much faster. Okay. Oh, that works. That works better than this, guys. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna be honest with you. In the if I can get out and stay in one spot. In my live streams, I was taking the mouse button and grabbing the area I wanted to go to, and pulling myself there. But I think this works much better, as long as you can get the camera in the right spot. That works much better. Whee! It took me a while to get used to instead of this. but that's how I was moving around. Okay, so enough of my little rant off into how I move around and controlling outside. Okay, remember the cameras are completely independent. You can use this to your advantage. So what they mean by that is just because I did all that moving around, my guy is right there, right? So I'm way back here, but if I hit one, my guy's still going to be right there. Okay, let's hit next. Climb aboard. Let's board the engine, which is just outside the engine shed. Find the ladder between the engine and the tender. Move forward with W while facing the ladder to climb into the cab. At the top of the ladder, you find the engineer's seat in the cab. It's on the right side of the engine. Simply walk into the seat to sit. Have a seat. So let's go climb aboard this engine. There we go. And we're setting. We can see all the controls from here. There's the Johnson bar. There's the independent brake, which controls the engine and the tender. This is your train brake, which controls all the rest of the train, the whole train together, I should say. Cylinder cock down there, and reverser right there. All right. Click on the engineer's window to open it. Hit E, or you can just click. Hit E to lean out. For a better look, you can lean left with Q. So we'll hit Q, we lean left. Alrighty. Let's look at next. Let's look at the engine controls for the engine. Let's look at the controls for the engine. I can't even speak this morning, guys. Engines and railroader have 4 major controls: throttle, reverser, independent brake, train brake. Use the mouse and the tooltips to find these 4 controls in the cab. Okay, we already did that. They each have a handle and are generally to put left or in front of you, easily reachable from the seat. They each have a handle and are generally to your left or in front of you, easily reachable from the seat. Okay, first we'll cover the brakes. Before you get the train moving, it's critical that you know how to stop it. Okay. Independent and train brake. The independent and train brakes behave very differently and are used in different situations. The independent brake controls the brakes on the engine and tender only. It's fast to apply and release, but it's only good for stopping the engine alone or very short trains. The train brake is used for slowing or stopping a train. It's controlled by changing the air pressure in the brake line, and because of this, it's slow to apply and even slower to release. In fact, you can only fully release it. It's not possible to partially release the train brake, unlike the independent brake. Each brake has its own control handle. Both brakes are applied by rotating the control toward the front of the engine and released by moving toward the back of the engine. All the way back for the train brake. Try applying and releasing each of the brake controls in the cab. Leave the independent brake applied toward the front of the engine. Okay, so let's try. So this is the independent brake. It's fully applied, and they said to leave it fully applied. Here's the train brake. So all the way forward, all the way back. You heard it go, so it will release it. Okay, the throttle is set between 0 and 100%. Controls how much steam is sent to the pistons, which makes the engine go faster. The reverser is set between 100% full reverse or 100% full reverse or 100% full forward. When you want the full power of the locus of the at low speed, push the reverser all the way forward or back. As your speed rises, however, you need to move the reverser closer to the center. You can think of the reverser as similar to setting gears on a bicycle. Moving it toward the center enables the engine to work more efficiently, allowing the engine to go faster. Note that center itself is neutral. No power is applied to the drivers. Now let's look at the engine from outside. Switch to the overhead camera with 2 and then shift 2 to center the camera on your character. So let's go to 2 and then shift 2. So that centered it on my character. I think I was supposed to be zoomed in. But anyway, okay, next, control click on the engine. So there's the engine. Control click. Okay. This opens the equipment inspector. Okay, equipment inspector window. Or inspector for short. Oh, excuse me, guys. Or inspector for short. The inspector can be used to view information about the engine and make changes. Click the select button in the bottom left corner of the inspector. When an engine is selected, the HUD controls are shown in the bottom left corner of the screen, close to the inspector. So select. There's the engine controls. And top one is your, well, they'll tell you here in a minute. Close the inspector. Okay, so we can close the inspector. Alright, the HUD controls are simply another way to control the engine. They operate the same as the 3D controls in the cab. They are the train brake, top left. So this is the train brake. Hover over it. There it goes. Train brake. Okay. Independent brake. So this is the independent brake. Bottom left. Come on. Independent brake. Can I move that up? No. Alright, and then the bottom right is the reverser. So this is your reverser. Alright, anyway. And the top right is your throttle. So this is your throttle. The train speed in miles per hour is also shown next to the reverser. So this is your speedometer. Notice the numbers in the slider knobs. The throttle numbers shows the throttle percentage. The reverser shows whether it is forward or reverse. The train brake and the independent brake show pressure in the brake line and pressure in the brake cylinder, respectively. The meaning of these numbers is a bit involved for this tutorial, however. Alright, HUD brake display. The HUD controls also show a graphical representation of the brakes in the cars coupled to the selected engine. Look for 2 rectangular dots just above the brake sliders. So he's talking about this 2 dots right here that are in red. Alright, each dot represents an engine. Each dot represents an engine, tender, or car. These dots will change color to tell you what the brakes in the train are doing. White and beige, fully released. White, beige, fully released. Okay. Red, fully applied. Red is fully applied. Purple is the handbrake. Where is the handbrake on this thing? I know this thing's got a handbrake. That's it, I think. Yep. There it goes. So now you see it's purple right there. That's the handbrake. Okay. Let's release it. Gray is derailed. Best way to show you that, guys, is to, let's close this a minute, to go and click on this engine here and hit follow, and it'll take me over to that engine, and hit select, and you'll see gray because this engine is derailed, it's not on the tracks. Okay, so let's go back to this engine, hit follow and select. Alrighty, now let's bring our tutorial back. Okay, a small warning icon will appear between cars when their air is not connected. More on connecting air later. Okay, so we'll learn more about connecting air later when we couple up to some cars. All right, selected engine controls. When an engine is selected, the following keys can be used. B for bell, H or Shift H, whistle low or high. So B, bell. And I like that. Unlike your railroads online where you click off the bell and it keeps going. When you click off this bell, it stops. H for horn. H shift. Okay, V, you can also do the whistle with the V and pull the mouse down. Watch my mouse, guys. All right. J is the headlight. So J, low beams, high beams, and then rear headlight on, but this doesn't have a rear headlight, so we don't have to worry about that. And then rear dim, rear off. Okay. Oh, where was I? Headlight. 0 is track select car. So if I hit 0, I come around here, hit 0. Well, all right, say I move down here. Now all I gotta do is hit 0, and it goes back to that car. So if I move down here away from this, and then hit 0, it takes me back to the train. And then 9 is to the end of the train. So 9 just takes me back to the end of it. That's to the front, that's to the end. All right. And then control 0, first person jump to selected car. So if I go control 0, then it takes me on first person view in whatever train I'm in. Whatever train my guy is in, because you can be operating a different train on the other side of the map. Your guy can be in a train completely on the other end of the map. Hit 0 now to track the engine. So 0 back to tracking the engine. Next we'll cover how to top off your water and coal. You can check your fuel and water by hovering the mouse over the tender. I'm going to get out of the inspector here. And so hover over the tender. I have 3 tons of coal and 2,000 gallons of water. All right, next. Using the overhead camera, follow the track ahead of your engine to find the water column and coal conveyor, which are 50 yards away. You will go through 2 switches, or on your way there, left at the first switch and then through the second switch. Both switches are set to normal, meaning they are set for the typical path of the train. Click the switch stand and note how the points on the switch move. And notice the points of the switch. The blades which guide the train wheels move. The target, the circle above the switch stand, changes from green to red. Red means reversed or diverging from the normal path. Set both switches so that the train can follow them forward and reach the water column and coal conveyor. The first one will be normal and the second one will be reversed. It's a good idea to check your switches as you go. Getting one wrong could be a costly mistake. Amen. Trust me to that, brother. I've made that mistake. So the first switch we're going to set to go that way. So it's going normal. But that won't be normal, not for this train. So we need to leave that one where it is. Right? So that's the switch we want to switch to that way. And that goes to the coal car. We don't want to do that. We want to leave that one normal. Because you want your train to come out and stay on this track up to this switch. This switch you do need to change to that so that the car goes out here. See, it's not normal. The blades move. That's for straight through path. That's for diverging traffic coming from this way. Alright, let's bring our tutorial back down. Alright, I'm reading through this, guys. I know how to do all this, but I figured I'd read through it for you guys. So, using the overhead camera, follow the track ahead to your engine to find the water column and coal conveyor. Oh, I read that already. Alright, first step. Let's move our engine out of the shed, planning to stop at the water column. First, move the reverser all the way forward and release your independent brake by moving the control toward the back of the engine. In the HUD, right is forward and left is back. So we can do this first person view like this, right? So we're going to move our reverser all the way forward, right? And then we're going to move our independent brake all the way back. And you heard, just let the air, and you see how that turned to beige, right? And then next, open the throttle. Oh, all the way back. Now start ringing the bell with B and give the whistle 2 blasts. To signal we are moving. Next, open the throttle to 10 or 20%. You should start rolling. Stop the bell. And once you get about 5 miles an hour, close your throttle to 0%. The engine will continue to move forward. As you get close to the water tower, apply the independent brake. And now we're going to get out here, guys, so we can see what we're doing. Too much brake. Alright, now we can control the train out here too. So I'm going to take the throttle. I want to move it forward. and I'm just going to get going a couple mile an hour, and I'm going to stop or bring the throttle back to 0 and let this just kind of coast up there, keeping my mouse on the brake here, because when this cap gets to that post, I want to stop. Now, close enough. All right. After the engine is getting closer to the water column, apply the independent brakes by moving it forward toward the front of the engine. Bring the engine to a stop before it passes the water tower column. All right, using either camera, find the water hatch and take the rear of the tender. Find the water hatch at the rear of the tender. It's pill-shaped and facing upward. Click on it to open it. You'll see water inside. We see water inside, guys. Okay. This is where you can fill the tender's water storage. We'll need to line the water column up with the point of our tender. It doesn't need to be perfectly lined up, but it needs to be close. Release the independent brake and open the throttle a little if necessary to continue forward. Try to stop with the water column lined up with the water hatch. If you overshoot it, stop the train, move the reverser all the way back, and try it again. Water is the lifeblood of the steam engine. Without it, the engine will not operate. Ask me how I know that. Water is unlimited on our railroad and can be sourced from water columns such as the one beside us. A good number of water towers and columns can be found across the line. Click the water column spout to rotate it into position. It will start flowing, provided your engine's water hatch is close enough. If the water doesn't start flowing, try moving your engine to better align with the spout. The water is automatically stopped once your tender is full. Once you've got enough water, stow the spout and close the hatch. Coal is next. All right. So we have to move this over and it should start flowing. And it does. And if you hover your mouse over, you can see we started at 2,000 gallons. We're now filling up. And I believe this engine holds 4,000 gallons, or 30. This may be the one that holds 3,400. But this is a 10-wheeler. So, nope, 35. So this is the one that holds 4,000. But I like that, how you can see the water, guys. That's awesome. The reflection of the water, or the water moving around in there. Okay, let's close our hatch and go to our tutorial. He said coal is next. All right, the coal conveyor at East Whittier unloads coal from a hopper and into your tender. The hopper is empty, but the conveyor has a little bit of coal stored. Move your engine ahead and stop the coal bin of your tender under the chute. Click the chute and it will lower. As with the water, coal will only start flowing once it's aligned. You will see the coal pile in the tender rise as it fills. You should always check your coal towers and diesel fuel points to see if you need to order more fuel for them. Hover the mouse over the storage portion on the conveyor. It's in the ground. On the conveyor, it's in the ground, and check how much fuel is stored. We'll cover ordering fuel later. There's not enough coal to fill the tender, but we should have plenty for our work. Click on the chute and stow it. Let's see about rescuing our other engine, derailed during the flood. Alright, so we got another engine back there derailed during the flood. So one I was in just a minute ago, guys, and showing you how it was derailed. So let's go ahead and do what he said. We're going to move this forward a little bit. So I like to line up just with the chute like that, and then I can take off my brake and then give it a little juice. I just want to get it up to about 1 or 2 miles an hour, and then cut it. And then once that gets lined up, boom, I'm stopping. And then I'm gonna bend out a little bit. And then if I hover over this, you see there's 1,000 pounds on the conveyor. There's nothing in the hopper. So it said click on this, and you'll see 1,000 pounds, and now it's going to 891, 782, 673. So it's emptying, but it's filling this up. 3 1/4, 3 1/2, 3 1/2 tons of coal now. So, and then stow that, it said. And they said, let's see about rescuing our buddy. Okay. The map. Let's get our bearings. We stopped on the yard and engine service lead. On the yard and the engine service lead, a track which runs parallel with the main line. The main line runs east and west. Our head end is pointed toward the western end of the railroad. So that's pointed towards the west, and you can see that. Well, it says north, but if you go, there it is, west. You can see that right there. It says west. So, where is that? Pointed toward the western end of the railroad. Okay. Open the map menu with M. Excuse me, guys. Open the map shows track, engine, location names, and your camera view. Each time you open the map, it centers on your camera. So it's centered right where my camera is. Okay. Within the map, you can click and drag to pan. Scroll the mouse wheel to zoom in and out. Control T to move your camera to the point your mouse is over, enabling you to quickly move across the map. You can also Control T to move your character to where your mouse is pointed within the world. So right now, if I move it to right there and hit Control T, then it moved my mouse. We'll get back on the engine. But I do want to see, yeah, my guy stayed there. So I want to stow this. Did I stow that? Yeah, it was stowed. Next, find the derailed engine. It's just a few yards away by foot, east of the coal conveyor. There it is over there. Oh, let's get rid of the map. I don't need the map anymore. There it is right there. Okay. If you're having trouble finding it, check the map with M. You will see 2 engine markers, one for the running engine and the other for the wreck. Yeah, okay. We need to use our engine to rescue the wreck, so use the overhead camera or map to plan your path. There's switch just ahead that leads to it. Excuse me again, guys. Oh, yawning. I'm getting tired. I've been live streaming all day, guys, and had a doctor's appointment today too. So there's a switch just ahead that leads to it. Once you found it, pull ahead of the switch, stop, reverse, throw the switch, and roll down to the wreck, but not too close. But not close enough to couple to it, about 20 yards ahead of it. Keep your speed low, no more than 15 miles an hour. You don't want you don't want two derailed engines. Okay, so let's do what he said. We're going to pull up here to this switch. I'm going to use these controls. And I'm going to keep it at about 10. That's a good speed. Once my engine gets past, let's go to 9, get to the back of it. Once the engine gets past, I'm going to apply the brake. Apply some right now. Let it off, let it roll ahead. And I found you have to get about that far ahead of these switches. I parked right here on this tie before, 2 ties away from the switch, and it would not turn. It said I had to clear the switch first. Okay, now we need to back up to that engine. So let's brake off, reverse her back, and okay, he said not more than 15 miles an hour, so we're going to cut the throttle right there. And then we're going to start applying a little brake. Little brake. Little brake. And stop. Alright. Re-railing. The engine was the victim of the flood waters and debris. All of its water and coal are gone. Luckily, all its coal and water are gone too. Luckily, it can be repaired, but it will take some time. Walk alongside the derailed engine and the tender. So you got to get out of go back to first person view, and we got to get up and walk this way, get down. It says to walk along the engine and tender. The big engine. Excuse me, compared to little old me. For each, hover your mouse over it and hit Shift R repeatedly until the wheels are fully back on the rails. Once the engine and tender are re-railed, it can be coupled to be moved. If the engine still had coal and water, it might be able to limp home. Since it doesn't, we'll need to rescue it. Couple to the wreck with your engine by reversing into it, making sure to keep your speed between 5 and 10 miles an hour. So, what was that? If this engine is couple the wreck with your engine by reversing into it, making sure to keep your speed below 5 miles an hour in order to avoid causing even more damage. Okay, so let's hit Shift R, Shift R, Shift R. Okay, that's that one. Hover the mouse over this one. Shift R, Shift R, Shift R. There we go. So it's all hooked back up and ready to go. So couple, they said couple to it. So I'm going back to the overhead mode. Nothing more than 5 miles an hour, he said. So let's just go here and then we'll go boom, 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 boom. We'll leave it at about 2.6. All right. And then we can give it our brake. All right. Next, take it to the shed. With the damaged engine in tow, bring it up to the past the switch and then use the switch you use to access this track. The sawmill lead. You might need to use more throttle to get it up, to get the wreck up the hill. Set the switch to normal and shove back past the coal and water tower into the engine shed, stopping with the damaged engine inside the shed. Since we aren't connected to the air on the wrecked engine, and the independent brake is the best choice for reducing speed. Inside the engine shed, change to the first person view camera 1 and get out on the ground between your tender and the damaged engine. Click the coupler between the two to open it and move your engine ahead forward a few yards to leave the damaged engine in the shed. Now that the wreck is on the repair track, we need to hire some shop workers to get it repaired. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and get that engine up the hill, guys. So we're going to put our reverser forward. And you see we're at the front. Now we're at the back. So it takes you all the way back, not just the back of the engine, now back past the last car on the train. Said it might be hard to get up the hill, but I haven't lost anything. Wow, yeah. I lost about 1 mile an hour, and now I'm losing speed pretty good. I just got to get past this switch here. Now that should take us back into the engine shed because that's where I came from and I didn't make any movements. So reverser, and then we're going to go right here, and we're going to back this thing up into the engine shed. Alright, we'll slow down. We're going to take the throttle off here, let it coast back up in there. And start slowing it down. Making sure we got it all the way in the shed. And it said to get out in first person view, but guys, I like doing it this way here. Uncouple, and that's it, guys. It's done. Now we can pull this forward a little bit. And then hit stop. And she's out of the way. And if we hit 0, we're back on this engine. There we go. Okay, let's see what the tutorial says, guys. Open the company window with I, using the icon in the upper right hand corner of the screen. The company window gives you the visibility into all sorts of aspects of the railroad. Switch to locations tab and find East Whittier engine service. Okay, so I, and then locations tab, and then East Whittier engine service. Okay. This location page shows you where it is and what track it has. So it has the coal loader and the repair track. Hovering over them. Get back to my, I wanted to do this. There we go. Hovering over them. Hovering over the text will highlight those tracks. So, see, does this highlight the coal track? Yep, coal loader. Where's that? Hovering over them. Okay. Number of shop crew and their wages, fuel on hand. All right. Presently, we have no shop crew. Hire 1 or 2 by clicking the hire button. Shop crew work on a daily basis, so our new worker will not start work on the engine at least midnight. Shop crew work on a daily basis, so our new worker will start work on this engine at midnight. You can hire more if you want to get the repairs done faster. Keep in mind the crew is still paid even if there isn't any work to do. All right, let's get through this, guys. Waybills and interchanges. Waybills tell you where freight cars need to be delivered to. So it's like a bill of lading for a semi-truck. Most waybills are set by your customers, and you will be paid when the car is delivered. Such waybills cannot be changed. Waybills are also used on cars that your railroad owns to order coal or diesel fuel, as well as for captive service, which we will cover later. The interchange is designated track, usually a yard, that a railroad uses to interchange cars with another railroad. On your railroad, the behind your engineer's shed. Well, let me read that again. On your railroad, the yard behind your engineer's shed doubles as your interchange. The interchange is served daily at 6 a.m. The Class 1 railroad takes delivery cars away and delivers incoming cars to your customer. If the interchange is ever full, and there are more cars to be delivered, the Class 1 will return later in the day. Okay, much of your freight work will be for our customers, but we also need to keep our railroad running, and fuel is a big part of that. Your coaling towers and conveyors provide coal, for use by engines, and it will be up to you to order and deliver the fuel that supplies these. This is called railroad fuel service freight. You'll use cars owned by your railroad for this. Fortunately, we already have a hopper spotted on the conveyor supply track near you, where you loaded the coal into the tender earlier. Let's use the hopper to order more coal. Open the inspector for the hopper car. Control click and switch to the operations tab. Find the two and empties two drop downs. Find the loads to and the empties to drop downs. These configure where the car is waybill to when it is loaded and emptied, respectively. Make the following settings: loaded to East Whittier coal loader, and loaded from East and loaded. Let me read them again. Loads to East Whittier coal loader, empties to East Whittier interchange. This will immediately set the waybill to the interchange because the car is empty. When the hopper is delivered and interchange is served, it will be loaded with coal and payment withdrawn. You can view cost on the company locations tab and return the waybill to East Whittier coal loader will be automatically set. Hit tab and toggle to the overhead display. An orange tag will appear above the hopper. Oop, that ain't what I wanted. That's not orange. Oh, whoa, shoot. It's because I haven't done the clicked on the car yet. Click on the car, open the operations tab, loads to East Whittier coal loader, empties to East Whittier interchange. Cycle. Okay, so it's all set. So now it should be orange, but it's not because I don't know. But anyway, the color indicates the east-west portion of the track. Hover your mouse over the label will show another overlay indicator where the location is relative to you. Okay, so if there it did turn orange finally. So if you look up here in the right hand corner, guys, just below the little menus tabs up there, East Whittier interchange to Carolina Fuel Company, 0.2 miles southeast. So it's 0.2 miles southeast of us. Hovering your mouse over the label will show another overlay. Okay, if the tracks are in view, you will also see the designation tracks highlighted to the car, but the highlighted portion in order to be considered delivered. Okay, so the cars must be in the highlighted portion. You can also see the waybill information by hovering over the car itself or the inspector's operations tab. So if I hover over the car itself, it says destination East Whittier interchange to Carolina Fuel Company. Empty. Okay. And then let's get out of that now. And then if you did, like where the caboose and that stuff is, if you go and you hover over, see the highlighted track, that's where the stuff goes. So you can also see the waybill information. Okay. Or in the inspectors tab. let's move the hopper to the interchange. Start by coupling to the hopper car in the fuel track behind the coaling tower. Okay, so let's break this down. So we're going to roll forward and couple to our car. I'm just going to stay over here by the car, guys, because I like to sit right here and do this. And then I'm going to move the train with this. So we're going to go forward. But I need to switch this switch right here. And this one right here. Whoa. I was coming on a little strong there, guys. And boom, hit the dang, hit the stopper, because the guys, when that problem happens, you can just hit 9 and get back to where you was at. But anyway, that happened because the brakes wasn't set. You can go, there's two ways to apply the brakes to this thing, guys. You can click on the car, make sure the car tab is picked, and then right here where it says handbrake, you can hit apply or release. Or you can hover over the handbrake itself and just click it, and then it will apply. But we want it released. And then I'm going to go back here because I'm sure he's going to tell you, okay, hit the tab to Google over. Okay. Let's move the hopper. All right. So connect the brake line. Walk between the engine and the hopper. Well, I'm not walking because I'm using the overhead cam. Each car has a coupler, air hose, and an angle cock. The angle cock is a valve on the brake line which needs to be open in order for the air to flow through the brake line, but closed at each end of the train in order to build pressure. Click one of the glad hands dangling at the end of the air hose to connect them. Next, open each of the angle cocks and turn the yellow handle toward the hose, allowing air to flow through the engine and the hopper. You can also shift click on the glad hand to connect the hoses and automatically open the angle cocks. Remember that the angle cocks at the end, at the front and back of the train must be closed in order to build pressure and release the brakes. If you hear hissing, the angle cock is open, letting out air, letting out all of the air. Alright, so you can do it like that, and then grab the angle cocks and open them. Or, let's go get a top view so you can see both angle cocks. There's the other one right there. If you shift and click these glad hands, watch the angle cocks. They both opened. So that's another way to do it. Alright, let's go get our thing back up. Click one of the glad hands thing. Okay, shift. Okay, next one. Trading the hopper for a coach. Alright, pull the hopper to the fuel track and move it onto the lead track. Throw the switch and pull it back to the yard interchange tracks. If you have the tab overlay on, you will see the tag dim once the car is in its destination. So like right now it's that dark orange. when once I get it inside the interchange, that will gray out. Tab over, you will see its destination. Stop your train and find the handbrake wheel on the hopper. Click it and apply the handbrake. Next, open the couplers between the hopper and your engine before moving your engine. Make sure you close the angle cock. You can leave the angle cock on the hopper open. This allows the brake line to empty, which applies the brakes. Now that you've cut off from the hopper, use the switches at the far end of the track, at the far end of the yard, to move to the front of the passenger car. Couple your tender to the passenger car, being sure to connect to the brake line. Next, we'll run a passenger train to Whittier and Ella. Alright, so let's take this over there, and first we got to do what we said about the engine shed. He told us, and I don't think I did it. So you need to click on the engine and go to operations and train crew, or go to orders, no, and go to equipment. Okay, so click on the engine, go to equipment. Right here where it says condition is 70%. So 70% damaged locomotives perform poorly, and damaged cars pay less. Repairs may be made at the RIP tracks. So your cars pay less if you damage them, and the engines perform more poorly if they're damaged. And passenger cars, like the coach, if it's damaged, you get less money for your fares. So condition 70%, repair destination. So we're going to click on that and set it to the East Whittier repair track. So now it's in the shed there. And that's sell destination. If I was going to sell it, I would put it in the interchange. So it would go in East Whittier interchange. Alright, now customize. This is the only thing you can do right now. You can change the reporting name, and then you can change the whistle. But I don't mind the whistle that's there now. Sorry guys, I don't mind the whistle that's there now. So anyway, that's done. So now, like he said, we're going to go to, you can click the little house up there, or you can go to I, or you can click I, and we'll see that there's an engine in there, and we have to hire a guy. Now we've hired that guy, and he's going to get paid $15 a day. Okay? And the time to complete this job is 1 day and 9 hours. Now I can hire somebody else, and it goes down to 1 day. And then another guy goes to 21 hours, 19 hours, 18, 17, 16. I can hire all these people down. Now we're going to take 15. But that doesn't make sense. So the only thing that makes sense here is we're going to do 1 day. So actually I want to do 21 hours. Shoot on it, 1 day. So it's going to take 1 day to fix that train. So now we need to move this one. So let's go to reverse this, and I'm going to set this. Oh, it's already set. So it's set to go around. No, it ain't. I'm going to set that right there like that, so it goes off in there so it don't run into that engine. Doesn't take a chance to running into that engine. And that's good. No, stop. Alright, so now we flip this switch here, and we're going to move forward out of there, out to this switch. Flipping that switch and moving forward down to the, no, moving in reverse down to the East Whittier Exchange track. You'll see it highlighted back down there in yellow. And I'm going to go down here and I'm going to flip this switch and that switch. So it goes deviates that way and then that way. And we'll cut the throttle, and he's going to pull into that track, and once we get him inside that yellow right there, we're going to give it some brake. Making sure he stays within the yellow. We're going to cut ties. So we're going to unhook. I was thinking for there a minute, guys. So we're going to unhook right there by shift click, and then just click on the coupler, and he's unhooked. And I'll show you what I was thinking about, guys. So we're going to go ahead and back up. And put the switch. And forward. This is getting to be a long video, so I'm gonna be cutting it short here, guys, since we get this set up. When we get down below 5 miles an hour, let it gently bump. And brake. Did I brake before it got to the car? Yeah, okay. I didn't want to hit the engine car. So we got the brakes. So we're going to go brake and reverser, or in reverse, and back up. And the thing is, I want to put this on the East Whittier track too, on the same track. Because, guys, what we're going to do is we're going to sell the caboose, because at this point it doesn't do anything. Maybe later on in the game it'll have some purpose, but right now it does nothing. So we're going to flip that switch, and again I want to go and I want to click on the caboose and then right click my mouse to open the inspector window, and right here where it says car and then equipment, I want to go to, instead of repair destination, I want to go to sell destination, and there's the price I'm going to get for it, $3,750, and we can use that money. So that says East Whittier, and then what can you do to customize these, I wonder? Just change the text. Western, I forget the name of our railroad. Western Hickory and Tennessee Railroad. So let's put that in there. Western Hickory and Nennessee Tennessee Railroad. Now let's see if it put that on the car anywhere. Yep, Western Hickory and Tennessee Railroad. Cool. Alrighty, so now we named it so we could sell it. So anyway, we got the equipment and it's set to sell. So we can click out of that, and now you'll see it's highlighted above the top, and it's already within the thing, but we're going to push it forward anyway because I need to get behind that passenger coach over there. So let's go like this and then push forward. I'm going to turn it down there, and I'm just going to turn around and watch this come up. As it gets close, guys, I'm going to apply some brake, let off a little bit, apply a little more brake, let off, just to get it below 5 miles an hour so it can click. Once it clicks, I'm going to go and catch and I'm going to stop. I want to make sure we're still within the yellow highlighted area. We are. So this one is going to East Whittier, and seeing you hover over it, guys, and it says East Whittier Exchange to Carolina Fuel Company, and this one says East Whittier Exchange because we're selling it. So now we're going to go here, and we're going to shift click, do that, and then we're going to back up. "13 miles an hour fast enough." A little brake, and a little more brake, and stop. And then turn that. And then we're going to go back forward. And we're going to, whoa. We're going to go up here and get up here by our passenger car. We're going to shut the regulator down. And we're going to slide up in here nice and easy. At 7 miles an hour. And I like to, guys, doing the passenger cars, is try to bump it at about 1 mile an hour. So there's 1 mile an hour right there, which may be a little bit too slow. Let's pick it up a little bit. There we go, 1.3. Because you want it when you hit a passenger car, especially if there's passengers already on it, when you go to bump it, you want to be just barely moving. Just give it a light, gentle kiss. You should do that with all cars, but that is ridiculous trying to move up to something that slow. It just has freight in it. So we're at 0.5, so we need to get a little bit more. We need to be about 1, at least 1, to get that to lock. And there it locked. And shift click and stop. Reverser to neutral. Boom. There we are. There we are, guys, and we are hooked to the passenger coach. And its brake lines aren't, I don't hear nothing. But anyway, So we're hooked to the passenger coach. Oh, okay. So there was no air. Somebody left the angle cock open probably and released the air. So once I start moving and then stop again, it'll apply air to it and shut it down. Shuts the brakes down. So we're with that. So let's go see. It says to the Whittier station. Okay, we're gonna leave it right there, guys. Leave off right there and come back. And the next episode we will run passengers from Whittier station to Ella. And so guys, this is Railroad. It's a really great game. I encourage you to go out and buy it. It's not that bad. I think it's only like $30, and it's cheaper than Railroads Online, really. And it's an awesome game. It really is. I would listen to a YouTuber earlier today was talking, and he said they expressed it like if Railroads Online and Derail Valley had a baby, Railroader is that baby. Now, there's differences and everything, but it's a great game. It does, to me, it does kind of combine the two. But there's also a term I heard today that made me think a lot. If you look at this, guys, I'm gonna pan out here. Okay, what's that look like? Huh? Does that look like a model railroad setup? To me, it's like playing with a model train, and I love model trains. So, yeah, this game is awesome, guys. The quality of life stuff that they put in this game, they made it a great game for multiplayer, but they also made it great and easy to play for a single player. Later on, they'll go over what's the AI trains, and you can actually have these trains have an artificial AI run these trains, and then all you have to do is make sure that you put stuff in place so that they stop where they're supposed to stop, and then you can go off and run another train while these are running passengers back and forth or whatever you want to do. But guys, next week or next video we'll go to Whittier Station, and as always, guys, be careful, take care of each other, God bless you, and we'll see you next time. Have a good evening, guys.